Hello there, and welcome to the 24 Gauge podcast. We are your hosts,
Dave
and Julia Grant.
A couple of nurses who are also a couple.
We are Canadian RNs with 25 years of shared acute care experience who have built professional careers and a life together. All right, so.
Hello again.
Hi there, take two here. Trying to record on a Sunday night with a toddler who won't go to bed. Cheers to you.
Again.
Cheers again.
Cheers.
Don't swallow or slurp into the microphone. We have already learned tonight.
Well, we can.
That's annoying.
It's annoying.
Are you going for the whole mouth sounds ASMR there?
Yeah.
We're going to lose subscribers.
Or we'll get a whole lot.
Or we'll get a whole lot of them.
One or the other. So this is our first nighttime recording episode.
Nighttime. I feel like when you say that, you should have had smooth jazz in the background or something.
I can put it in.
Okay, there we go.
But I'm supposed to talk with a higher register because I'm quite bassy, especially in contrast to you. But I feel like it's just going to be more bassy tonight.
Maybe. Should I try for more bassy?
Yes, that's how you should talk.
I will try. I will try very hard. It's just that whenever I listen to us, I always have to crank up the volume for your parts of the podcast.
I know. I'm trying to balance it out a little bit.
I just want to hear what you're saying, baby.
I know.
Yeah.
So before we get into our topic for tonight, which is scrubs.
Yeah.
I was trying to think.
You're so engaged with our topic today, aren't you?
I was trying to think of a catchy title. I don't even have something, but something to do with living life in PJs or something. But anyways,
yeah, that's a good episode title. Living life in PJs.
Every time you're gonna see me, I think on this video, I'm fucking wearing soft pants. And maybe a cozy sweater.
I was smart this time. I changed into soft pants tonight. I'm like an all black wonder.
I mean, we film at home usually during nap time or obviously at bedtime, and it's just I'm gonna be comfy, and I know that I probably should change for the podcast, but I'm like, if I'm gonna be sitting here for an hour or two talking, I want to be comfy.
Yeah, you know what? I feel like that philosophy also applies to your nursing day. So that was a great little segue right there. Well done, Dave Grant.
Especially, why put on hard pants? 90% of my entire job is in scrubs.
Yeah.
Which are just lightweight PJs.
You're just PJs, honestly.
So me getting dressed up is a chore because it's so much work. It happens once a year.
Can I segue off onto hard pants for just one second? Because I used that term in a conversation the other day, and someone was just making fun of me, being like, that's not a thing. I'm like, it literally is. I had to explain the concept of hard pants. So she had no idea what it was. But it has been put into Urban Dictionary since the start of the pandemic. Really? It became a thing. So I'm like, I felt very justified.
It's not just a Berganism.
It's not. No, it's an internet TikTok meme thing.
Okay, so I'm going to segue out of that before we get too deep.
We'll get too deep in hard pants.
Have you been seeing anything about this thing that's going on down in Florida?
Which
lately?
one?
Well,
it's Florida.
We're not Americans, so are we allowed to make that joke?
I don't know. Which one? The fake nursing degrees one?
Yeah.
Yes.
I just wanted to talk about that for a minute. It's because it's a relevant conversation happening in our field today. Now, nursing in the States is admittedly a little different than nursing in Canada. Mm-hmm. Also, sometimes I just feel disconnected from nursing when I start following, just to ramble, when I start following other nursing people on Instagram and stuff. Mm-hmm. Whether they're from the States or Canada, just seeing how engaged they are on an extracurricular level, I guess, in nursing. It's not like they just go to work and come home, but they're involved in rallies and conferences, and people have sat on nursing boards and this. I'm I don't even know what these things are. We have our union conference once a year, our big union conference and stuff like that, but I can't really think of any time that we have much else offered to us outside of union activity.
I think maybe we also don't pay attention to what's out there.
Yeah, probably.
I guess.
Yeah.
We don't do a lot of nursing extracurricular at this point.
So I wonder if that's actually most nurses, and the nurses that you see on Insta and social medias are ones that are quite engaged in the profession of nursing, not just being nurses for their day-to-day job.
Oh, I think that's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
I also think there's a lot of like nursing associations and teaching organizations and whatnot. There's way more of them in the States.
Yeah.
And because there's just more people, there's more professionals to engage with.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like in Canada, you know for sure that there's our National Nursing Association, the CNA, hosts a conference every year.
Yeah,
right?
I guess I did know that.
And like our like the Canadian Oncology Nursing Association, Cano, hosts a conference every year as well.
Okay, so it's just I'm lazy.
Or just not engaged.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe we need to go to a conference. I feel like literally the only nursing conference I've been to is I went to the National Student Association conference once in university, and that was it.
Well, so maybe that's a conversation or just maybe a question for our listeners, the two of you out there. I'm wondering how many nurses do we know who are engaged extracurricularly in the nursing field? And I'm talking like going to these conferences and whatnot. Like I can't think of a single nurse that I know that does these things on a regular.
Well, I know our PCCs on the unit were involved in Cano. I don't know how much of that has happened since the pandemic.
Yeah, I know that they've gone to
our local chapter.
I know they've gone to a few things. Anyways, that's all. So let's get back to Florida. So Florida, this is the problem with recording at night. It just becomes a long ramble.
We're tired and the brain's just.
Yeah. So, but I mean, maybe it makes for an interesting podcast. I like the rambly ones that I watch. They're fun.
All right.
Anyways, back to Florida. It is an important discussion that is happening right now. So I wanted to bring it up as it's relevant, but I was just reading the NPR article on it. There was I think it was 2016 and 2021, there were 7,600 degrees purchased.
Oof.
For around, I think it was $15,000 a pop. So whatever that works out to, if you can do the math. There were 25 individuals involved in it. I think it was across 3 schools.
Yep.
If I don't have my facts quite right, I apologize. And then about 2,400 of them actually sat the NCLEX, which just because you have your degree doesn't mean you can nurse.
Yeah.
You still have to write the NCLEX.
Which is the National Certification Exams.
Yeah. And the majority of them actually wrote it in New York because New York has licensing agreements with a lot of other states. So if you write in New York and pass, then you can
transfer a lot of
to other states.
A lot of other state nursing boards.
Right. Some are more restrictive anyways. So about 2,400 people passed the NCLEX.
Out of the 7,600?
Yeah.
That's like a third.
They're not saying how many people sat the NCLEX. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
But of the 7,600 people who bought degrees, 2,400 wrote and passed the NCLEX. And we're working as bona fide RNs wherever that may be.
That's like some catch me if you can shit right there.
Yeah, that's kind of gnarly. Like, I'm not surprised people could pass the test. There's enough NCLEX study material that if you just study the study material and you're a good test taker, you'd probably be okay. But yeah, that's kind of crazy, eh?
Yes, that is. You wonder what areas of nursing they were practicing in that they could pass as professionals. Like, were they all in long-term care or something? Like something very non-acute or?
Well, here's the thing, and I'm not obviously advocating this at all, but I'm just trying to think of the logistics of it. There is so much free education out in the world today, even when it comes to, like, say, a profession like nursing.
Yep.
Like, I keep hearing that, like not this isn't nursing, but I keep hearing that you can go to like MIT and do all of the courses online for free. And while you won't get an MIT degree, you will have the same level of learning. Yeah. As best you can from online versus in class for an engineering degree and stuff like that. And then you have YouTube. Yeah. You know, heck, even the things that we talk about here contribute to that learning. We might not be technical teaching, like actual, this is how you do this specific task, etc. But we talk more about the mindset of nursing, which is an important piece that you would get as you did your learning. Instead, you'll just learn how to talk and think like a nurse by listening to people like us. I can understand how people would have passed and would be working their careers, because especially if you just started on a medical floor and you were just kind of winging it, right? If you learned through YouTube or various sources how to like do your basic skills, your assessment, giving your meds, etc., right? Mm-hmm. The rest you can learn on the fly. Like I always tell my students, your nursing degree allows you to become an RN, but you actually learn how to be an RN in the first 2 years on the floor.
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, like, but you do have to have all the pieces and components there that you've learned along the way to like fit together as you go.
We come up against nurses in our profession that we're like, how the heck are you a nurse?
Yeah.
And like they're bona fide nurses, and it's just like, what did you learn in school? Like there have been a couple of students that have crossed our paths on oncology over the years that were like, how are you in preceptorship right now? And they go on to graduate and become nurses.
Yeah.
Right. So while you think that the standard is there, the standard is there, but it's also really easy to kind of squeak through the cracks if you have the right personality and you have some understanding about how the job is done, which I'm saying that you can just learn online.
So what's your...
I don't really have a takeaway other than
what are your takeaways from this?
Other than like how it could have happened.
Yeah.
I can very easily see somebody who couldn't get into nursing school or whatever. They were talking about how there were a lot of LPNs who wanted to upgrade that couldn't get into the programs and stuff to upgrade, so they would just pay for the degrees and stuff. Mm-hmm. It's just kind of scary that in such a regulated, whether it's in Canada or whatnot, I'm not obviously intimate with the regulations for down in Florida, but it's a regulated profession like it is the world over. Mm-hmm. And people can pay their 15 grand, sit for an exam, and then
go off and
be a nurse, right? And be taking care of people.
Yeah.
And I could easily connect the dots to see how that happened.
Yeah.
And that's really kind of scary that a regulated, and it's not like they got the degrees in Florida, but then they wrote in other states.
Yep.
So it's not just one regulating body that had the issue, right? So it's just kind of widespread, and it just like it's kind of scary. It makes you think about who is actually taking care of my loved ones in the hospital. But that is also why I always...
It's us.
we have gone to school. We have,
we did get our degrees, I promise.
I have a nice big degree.
Oh my God.
Julia's
Let's not even get started. Okay. Well, he loves to poke fun at me for this. So Dave's degree is actually like a full-sized printout diploma with like the crests, the signatures, the big fancy like shiny colored stickers. It's like all there with the language and the cursive writing, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. My degree is like 8.5 by 11. It looks like it was printed off on Windows 95. There's one gold sticker on it that looks like you could have gotten it from a dollar store. I'm like, this degree cost me $25,000.
Yeah. Oh, did it now?
Yeah. How much did your degree end up costing?
Yeah, I want to make a joke about like, so whose degree was bought? Right, the fancy looking one or the cheap one that was just printed off in the back room somewhere.
Gypped. I feel like if my school's alumni association, who is constantly like plugging me for support and don't you want to give back to the school and stuff, I'm like, give me a nicer degree, then we'll talk.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Mine isn't even on the wall. I don't even know where mine is.
Yeah,
yours is on the wall.
It was on the wall, but it's like right in our stairwell and we were moving, and so they came off the wall so we didn't wreck them. And yours never got put back up, and mine is up like right away.
And where is mine?
But it's because yours kept falling off for some reason. Maybe my degree kept being like,
yeah, maybe that's what it is. Like, your degree was bullying my degree to like knock it off the wall. Yeah. Like, you don't deserve to hang here. I know. Whatever. I now make more money than you, so.
Oh. That's true.
It is true.
Oh, we were always.
I can buy a better degree.
we were always equal, and now we're not. Even though it's just temporary.
It is.
Like I think this year you would have just been have been at the top of the pay scale like me.
Yeah.
I think you were just this year getting there, or just got there.
Halfway through the year, I got my final.
Oh, so I was. Oh, this now you've surpassed me.
I have.
Oh, I'm proud of you.
Oh, I'm proud of us.
Our bank account thanks you.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, enough rambling about Florida and stuff. It's just, it is an important conversation that is happening in our
profession.
in our profession right now,
and like in the public
and like
discourse.
I was saying, like I don't really think about our nursing profession outside of my job, and it kind of made me think about like the, just doing this podcast and following other people online and stuff. It made me just think about how like I'm very involved on our floor, but I'm not really involved in nursing elsewhere. I've tried to be a union steward, and it happened at a bad time in our life where we were taking care of grandma and grandpa, and things there was too much stress on top of everything else, and I had to let it go.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's this, and the headlines about Florida and stuff. It was really making me just like, how involved are we in nursing, and is that actual typical for most nurses? Most nurses just go to work, do their job, care for their patients, come home, family life, or are most nurses actually involved one way or another? And I'm just not seeing it.
I don't know anyone else that goes to nursing conferences personally, so I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe we're just stuck in a corner of the world that's not very engaged with the nursing
and
world
maybe
at large.
Maybe it's a Canadian versus American thing. Maybe there's less hoorah.
Yeah, maybe
about your profession in Canada than the States. I don't know. Like I don't really know much about nursing in the States other than a few things that were contrasted for us when we were in nursing school.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm not sure.
No.
Anyways. Scrubs. Life in scrubs.
Life in scrubs, perpetually in PJs.
I love it.
Yep.
That alone would sell me as a profession.
Yeah, just like you can always wear pajamas because it's like scrubs are glorified pajamas. So back in the day, I should just say how we ended up with this topic is that I had a friend the other day just ask me one question about scrubs at work, and it spawned like almost a half an hour long conversation.
Oh, well, hopefully this can replicate that.
Yeah, something like
that.
Because
let's be honest, when you said, "Hey, let's talk about scrubs," I'm like, okay, scrubs are comfy. Done.
No, you can talk about anything much longer than that.
Obviously, I'm just making crap up as we go. Okay.
So nursing used to be like the gown, the cape, the white cap, the starched linens, like the hosiery and whatever all else. Or if you were like, I guess male nurses didn't used to be a thing, but orderlies, you had pressed pants. But even
when male nurses started becoming into the profession, they were very much still dressing as orderlies. Like that was their uniform.
Yeah. Yeah. So when did that switch actually start to happen?
2-3 years ago.
I'm gonna say maybe like the 90s. We should ask people who've been around a little bit longer than we have.
Like I imagine Allison at some point in her career was wearing the whole regalia. I'm
sure, and also,
can we call it regalia? I mean,
sure.
Nowadays when you think about it, it's much more over the top than scrubs. So
yeah,
but maybe not. Regalia is not quite the right word.
Well, and I think it's progressed at different rates in different countries as well, right?
Well, I'm sure there's still countries where it is still the thing.
Yes, very much so. But now we all wear these glorified PJs.
Everybody, like anybody that's on the actual floor, at least at our on our unit, and for the most part in our site, if you're on the floor at all,
you're wearing scrubs of some sort.
You're wearing scrubs of some sort.
Yeah. So, my friend was asking like the big question that she had. She's like, so do you have to buy your own scrubs, or is that part of like an employer pays for that? And well, we're now in different units and different scrub situations, if you will, because at the start of the pandemic, our oncology unit started getting like deliveries and was part of the hospital scrub program, which is like just supplied very generic blues in our hospital mostly that are just delivered in a myriad of sizes to the unit. And they started that at the beginning of the pandemic as just one more break in the chain.
But not for every unit.
No, that's what I'm saying. On oncology.
The ones that were considered more high risk.
That's what I was trying to explain. It was one more.
I apologize.
Breaking one more chain link in the chain of infection was just getting scrubs that weren't coming from outside the hospital.
Well, actually, supposedly a lot of units try to get on board with that. When they started that and they were like signing up for it, and then the manager stepped in and like,
No,
we're not doing this.
I don't know what. But like, it's not outside of like really like more specialized areas. At least in our hospital, the hospital doesn't supply scrubs. So the vast majority of nurses working in the hospital in like general med surge units are all supplying their own, which is like out of pocket expense, and it's just expected that you purchase your own scrubs, which came up this past week for me because I realized I actually only have like 3 sets of scrubs, maybe like kind of I can piece together 4, but like I haven't bought scrubs since well pre-pregnancy. So that's like 4 years ago now, and all of those scrubs actually that I had pre-pregnancy were like a couple of years old. And like, well, now that I'm no longer on a unit that supplies scrubs, I'm probably gonna have to buy some scrubs. But holy cow, I started researching or like just going and looking and shopping, and scrubs be expensive these days.
Is there a scrub shortage? So they've all been hit with inflation.
I feel like scrubs,
a supply management issue.
Maybe. I feel like scrubs have gotten so much fancier, and like since I started nursing too. Like when I started nursing, like, okay, so first pair of scrubs that I bought for nursing school they ended up being Grey's Anatomy, which was like at that time the thing. That was like the bougie brand. But they were like soft and comfortable and whatever all else. But ever since then, like all these other brands have come out that are making like really chic looking scrubs and like the jogger bottoms and whatever, like Figs and Janu, and
they're like Lululemon mixed with scrubs almost, like like they're like
athleisure for the medical profession.
That's what I was trying to say with Lululemon. Like athleisure, not just athletic wear, but athleisure scrubs. Yeah.
Like
they look really comfortable.
They look great, and honestly, because you wear them every single day at work, and you wear them for long hours, and you're just like you're moving lots, you're doing lots. Like you want something that's really comfortable, but also very washable and like durable. I'm going to stand up. But here's the thing: that first pair of scrubs, that like light blue pair of Grey's Anatomy that I bought my first semester of nursing school, I still have those babies.
14 years.
Oh, yeah. That's 14 years ago now. Yeah, so, worthwhile investment. They're now like, we were talking about this too. They're now my like second night shift scrubs.
Yeah. Oh,
I don't know. Okay, any other nurses who are actually listening can comment on this. Do you have scrubs in your repertoire
that go or certain days?
Certain days, like this is like I wear these ones on my first day shift, or I wear these like these ones are saved for my last night shift now because they're just like they're a little older, but they're also the most like worn in comfortable.
Yeah.
They're great second night shift scrubs now.
So by the time you get to second night shift where your brain's kind of fried and you just don't really give a rat's ass anymore, then you'll be like, these are fine.
We do still give a rat's ass about patients, but we're just
no.
We don't like care about like yourself.
But look, you usually your
you don't care
hair's
how
not
you
quite
look.
done. Your makeup is probably not existent by this point.
Yeah,
you're just like
not
showing
putting it
up.
on.
You're just showing up. There's no cute doctors wandering around and stuff like that to impress like on day shift and stuff. So
yeah, you can wear the old scrubs on the night shifts, especially second night shift.
Well, see, my thing has been mine has been a bit different. It's always like male nurses are not the majority, obviously. And while there are some male nursing scrubs that are decent, they're very few and far between, and they're not made for big guys. Right? Actually, I find that most scrubs, period, aren't just made. The cool scrubs aren't really made for bigger plus size people.
They're made for people of like my weight and width, but they're like 5 inches taller than me.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
That's who they make them for. They make them for the girls who played volleyball in university.
My story with scrubs is a bit more traumatic. Because I hate buying scrubs. I really do. Which
is why Dave loves his hospital supplied scrubs.
So
now.
I've always had weight on. I've always been of a bigger body set. I don't know why I said it like that. I've always been heavy. In my nursing school, coming back from when I was living in Hawaii and stuff, I was just fat, period. And then as I got into my career, I just put on more weight. Like dealing with nursing and trying to figure that out, paying student loans, being lonely and by myself. It's just, I put on more weight. You were
a poor, lonely bastard when I met you.
I sure was.
That's why I told you to get a dog, which you did.
Yeah.
The day before we started dating. Yeah. He's right there.
But that made buying scrubs quite difficult because you would buy scrubs that fit, that you could get on.
Yeah.
but then they were circus tent voluminous in areas that you didn't want them to be voluminous because they just cut these big square fabrics.
Yeah, they do.
Right? Like the most basic pattern, no tapering, no nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you had them so that they weren't tight on your big belly, they were massive under the shoulders or, huge on the hips. Like they were just like balloon pants. Like it was just ridiculous. Mm-hmm. So I've always kind of hated scrubs. Now, when I started to lose weight, and which was really good, and once we got together and stuff, lost a lot of weight and, was enjoying wearing scrubs and having good scrubs and stuff. But pandemic and having a toddler and stuff like that put all the weight back on, which sucks, but we're working on that.
Making progress.
But, I was happy wearing the scrubs that the hospital provided.
Yeah.
Except I'm funny. I have short legs and a long torso.
Yeah. Interesting fact. Dave's inseam is not even 2 inches longer than mine.
Yeah, it's almost.
And
the
he's
same.
like a foot taller than me.
Yeah, it's really weird. I have shorter legs
so
and a long torso, and I have a gut. The nursing scrubs come to like my belly button.
Yeah.
I got like crop top. I got like a crop top, and it's like if when I'm standing there.
Yeah.
And not doing anything is fine. But the minute I start doing any physical activity, which nursing is a lot of physical activity.
Boosting people, rolling people.
I'm just like, I can't. So I'd have to wear an undershirt, but then my scrub, it was ridiculous. I hated it. And especially as I put the weight back on, it became more and more prominent.
Yeah.
So, at first I went from, okay, I'm just going to wear a nice t-shirt, but still wear the scrub bottoms.
Yeah.
And then it was like, okay, I'm getting to the point where the scrub bottom size that I'm wearing are not necessarily the most comfortable things to wear all the time. Mm-hmm. But the next size up is like, even for me, they were way too big.
Yeah.
Like there was no like happy medium between. So now, honestly, right now, my most comfortable go-to is just having like my own athleisure or athletic wear that I get from a company that makes good clothes for big guys.
Yeah.
Which, is fine. They're just a solid color, black, easily washable. Like you can run them through the wash 1,000 times. Like they're great.
Yeah.
They're not scrubs. And so I kind of feel, especially like on our floor, because most people wear the hospital greens.
Yeah.
I kind of feel out of place a little bit sometimes. Like that's the fat kid who can't wear scrubs.
Oh. Well, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I've also, this year, mental health, going back to one of our earlier podcasts, I've also learned to just accept that and talk about it and not ignore it through omission.
Yeah.
I'm fat. I put weight on. It's fine. It's not fine, but I'm working on it.
Yeah, you are.
Right? And right now I have to do and wear what makes me feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And so that's not wearing scrubs.
I don't even know if we have a hospital or like a health authority dress code that mandates that you must wear scrubs. Is there?
Probably not. But if I was wearing like jeans and a t-shirt on the unit, I probably would get talked to.
Probably. I mean, I probably shouldn't know that there's a dress code. I've never.
There is a dress code. I don't know if it specifically says scrubs.
Yeah.
It talks about It actually, I remember that it talks about appropriate attire for work.
Yeah, but doesn't specify scrubs.
No, and who gets to determine what's appropriate attire, right?
Yeah. Okay, so along those lines, then I don't feel like dress code or professional dress, any of those sort of things, it's never come up in my career. I know there's like big stories that have gone on about some outrageous dress code requirements in the States or whatnot that have come up and made the news. But that's never come up at all in my career.
Sure.
However, nursing school, different story.
Oh yeah, nursing.
Strict dress code about scrubs and whatnot.
Like detailed, these are the color of
crazy.
Shoes.
Yes.
Et cetera, et cetera.
Yes.
Yeah, the
we
whole
were,
thing.
We were supposed to wear white shoes. We could do white or black. And we weren't actually supposed to wear black scrubs though. And we definitely were not allowed to wear all black. So you could have black pants. That was one like they would allow. But they didn't want you to wear dark colors.
What was the reasoning for that?
Well, of course, because apparently it's morbid and we would make patients depressed if we were dressed in all black.
Yeah.
So, and they didn't even...
Because that's what's going to make your dying stage 4 cancer patient depressed is your scrubs.
Is your black scrubs when you walk in the room with the medication.
Sometimes is overreaching in what they think.
It is. But I don't know about your school. My school at the time was run by a lot of people who came out of like the hospital nursing education system, which was very much like a nunnery. They controlled your life while you were there in nursing school. So that was still their mentality when it came to education. Like, you're here for us to control your life and mold you into this professional that we think that you should be. And like how you dressed was still part of it. They wouldn't even let us have more than one earring.
I think earrings was a thing for my school. If I remember correctly, you had to just wear a solid color scrub.
Yeah, solid color scrubs.
It didn't dictate that you couldn't wear black. I don't remember. I don't think so though. White shoes. The logo was allowed to be a color, but the shoes themselves had to be white.
Oh yeah. Ours had to be all white.
Yeah.
Was the deal. Yeah, and it was supposed to be lighter colors. The only reason they made the exception with like black pants is we had 2 guys in our program who spoke up and they're like, it is impossible to find scrubs for guys that are not dark colors, right? So you got to give us something. Got to give us something here. And yeah, and then we all had to like pin a badge on and have like our name tag pinned on as well, which when I got my school name tag with a pin in it, I was like, hell's no, am I pinning this for 4 years on whatever I'm wearing, scrubs or other school stuff? I immediately took it home. I cannibalized one of my name tags from like a restaurant I used to work on that had the magnet clip. Just ripped that stupid pin right off, put the magnet clip on my first day of school. I'm like, I'm not dealing with this shit.
We had to sew ours onto our scrubs.
Technically, we were told that we were supposed to sew, but then they said, because then they would have made it, then we would have had to buy a ton of patches, and they charged us like, I don't know, something stupid. It was like $30 a patch or something.
Oh yeah,
and then,
ours was like $5 a patch. It wasn't.
I mean, maybe I'm remembering this incorrectly, but I feel like it sounds about right for the school I went to. I feel like they were just really expensive, and so because like we were students and it was multiple years, we managed to convince them to let us like pin it on to our scrubs. So now I think the school I went to, they have just a school issued scrub top, and then you buy your own bottoms.
Oh, okay.
But I think they specify what color your bottoms, like your scrub bottoms, are now. Yeah. What was the first pair of scrubs that you ever bought?
Some generic $20 unisex clown costume.
Do you still have them?
No.
As soon as hanging on to 14-year-old
As soon as I started making
here.
money, I bought better scrubs, and then as soon as I started losing weight, I got rid of all my fat scrubs.
Yeah, fair. Okay, here's a question. This actually came up for debate a lot in nursing school, and I don't know whether it's a debate or not still anywhere in nursing realms, but I had a lot of instructors who wanted to talk about like having an actual uniform, like people being expected to wear like a white shirt and black pants, or wearing hospital issued scrubs where they all look the same so you can tell what profession is what profession, right? Because like you said, anyone on our floor that comes onto the floor is wearing scrubs. They could be the doctor, they could be the unit clerk, they could be there from the lab, they could be respiratory therapy, they could be nursing, they could be our care aide. We're all wearing scrubs. And it can be confusing. It can get confusing. And have you ever worked in a hospital where like they designated colors or uniforms for different professions? No, I've seen them, but I've seen them more like online, like out of the States. Yeah. I don't know if it's a thing in Canada. Could be, but I've only worked at 2 hospitals, so. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. How do you feel about that? Man, I kind of not saying that everybody doesn't get to wear scrubs. Yeah. But nurses wear these scrubs and. Yeah. I think it would make it less confusing for the public and for patients to know who they're talking to and who's coming in. To be fair, we're also supposed to be wearing a name tag with our designation and stuff, right? But yeah. Which is a 50-50. Well, also, like, it's impossible to get a name tag. It's so hard to, like, if you lose it, it's hard to get one replaced. Anyways, that's a whole nother issue. I think that would be my main argument, a pro argument that I would listen to, or that would like make sense to me. The only argument that I really think is like, oh yeah, that would be something that could potentially win me over to that idea of like each profession wearing certain types of scrubs is just that it makes it so much less confusing for patients and families to know who they're talking to and who they're dealing with. Yeah. But I think if you're going to start dictating that, then you need to start supplying that. I agree. I agree. If you were going to have like a really strict dress code, then you need to not be forcing your nurses to buy scrubs. Then you should be supplying them. Yeah. Or provide a uniform budget. Yeah. That if they want to get better stuff, Yeah.
As long as it falls within
Oh,
the
like kind of like a
guidelines.
boot allowance, like you
Yeah.
get like a scrub allowance.
Yeah.
Oh, we should tell our union to like bargain for that next time around. No.
Yeah, after this time where we're going to get a lot of hopefully good stuff.
Oh God, I hope so. Let's hope we don't strike. I was gonna say, if you could buy any scrubs right now, what would you buy? I don't. Think
Again, this has
Yeah.
nothing. This is a meaningless conversation for me about
Yeah.
types of scrubs.
Fair enough.
Because
enough.
it doesn't
Okay.
matter. There
All right.
are
All right.
nothing
Well-
for guys.
All right. What's the worst thing?
Hold on. I want to just say something.
Oh,
here,
sorry.
Because this is very much nursing.
Yeah.
Nursing is rightly so. It's geared towards women and stuff. Not rightly so. I don't know what that meant, but nursing is predominantly women. The conversation is about women. And even when I just said there is nothing out there good for guys and guys my size, that's glossed over to have the question. And I'm not saying that that's what you, I mean, it is what you did. But I'm not saying that you did it on purpose. But I'm saying, but that's the nursing conversation in general when it comes to, and I'm not complaining. I mean, I have no right to complain in life. But I'm just saying that it just is a reality of the situation, being a guy in a predominantly women-run career or industry field profession. The conversation is not. It never takes. And it's especially weird considering all the feminist theory that is involved in the nursing education. I'm really trying not to dig myself in the hole here, but the women theory, the feminist theory that is involved in nursing school, and equal rights and all of those things, and then the guys are, we're just going to put you in a corner and kind of forget that you exist when we talk about things in nursing.
Do you think that that's like just a sexist thing in nursing, or do you think it's just because guys are a minority and minorities just get left out of the conversation?
Well, I'm not a minority, so I haven't experienced that side of things.
You're a gender minority.
No, but I'm okay. Yes, but I can only speak from a guy point of view. Okay. I can't answer the question. Does it happen to all minorities? Because I'm not a cultural minority, so I don't know. I'm going to assume. Well, we didn't think I didn't think that
this was going to come out with talking with Scott. I thought it was going to be a silly, short little 20-minute conversation. Instead, you went off on a whole long thing about Florida and the value of degrees and extracurricular engagement. And now we're talking about male nurses not being included in the general sphere of nursing discord. That's where we go. And the conversation goes where the conversation goes.
And again, I'm not complaining. And the things that are issues where it's like very much I apologize if I'm not saying the right words, but like very much gender dominant, then none of them are really important. But I'm just saying it is a thing that happens where the guy's point of view is kind of glossed over or just ignored, or not even. There's not even a thought to be like, we have guys too. We should think about it. Like in my nursing school. Yeah. Right. One of the things, like when you pay your tuition, one of the things they gave you was a fucking nursing purse. And it was like fucking pink. And we had like 20 guys in my program. And we're like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this thing? Yeah. Right. And it's just like, like not even a thought to be like, we should have something that's more appropriate for the guys in the program that they're paying for. They're paying for this, and we're just gonna give them a pink purse like it's a fucking like it's a thing.
At least you got a purse. My school didn't hand out purses, and it didn't hand out pretty degrees.
It was supposed to be like a book bag, but it ended up being like a big purse thing, and it was really asinine.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Right. And there wasn't two thoughts about it. So I'm saying like the issues aren't really that big of a thing. I'm saying they do happen, and they're just glossed over. Like, well, what's your first pair of scrubs you have? Who the fuck knows? Like some knockoff brand made in China that doesn't have a name and is like the thinnest, shittiest fabric because that's all that was available to me. I didn't have Grey's Anatomy options.
Well, I don't think Grey's Anatomy came out when you were graduating.
Even if I was, there was nothing. Whatever the hot scrub was at the time, they were not available for guys. So. You triggered me.
I apologize.
But again, they're all superficial. Like they don't actually mean anything when it comes to the conversation, because the inverse of that or the reverse of that is very true. And I don't recognize it, but you told me, and the other girls on the unit talked about it. The other women on the unit, talked about it. When I asked them, and you guys will be asking doctor for something for 3 or 4 days, and you kind of just get ignored. Mm-hmm. And then I come on the unit, I'm a nurse, but I'm a guy nurse, and I mention it to the same doctor, and they're like, yeah, whatever you want, Dave, and just write it out. Mm-hmm. So
it didn't even happen on different days, though, because I tried to convince you that this was happening for the long. And this probably should be another podcast, so I'm not going to go on about this very long.
Well, next week we'll talk about sexism.
Oh, maybe not. That's too heavy. But I was trying to convince you that this does happen in the workplace, and you're like, I just don't see it. It wasn't even a different day. It was the same day. It was a patient, and we were both sitting at the desk. A certain doctor came up. I was explaining what I thought was happening going on. Sorry, what was happening with this patient. I was noting trends in labs. I was, saying this, that, and whatever, and was saying, do you think we could try this to correct this issue that's come up? And the doctor just like, nope, shut me down. Yeah. And Dave stepped in, and I hate to say it because I don't think you did it consciously, but you mansplained the whole situation to the said doctor, and he immediately
did I mansplain it to a female doctor? Or did I just step in as the guy? Because mansplain, I don't want to mansplain. Okay, not mansplaining, but
okay, you were the man who explained it using basically the exact same words that I did, but the exact same concept.
I was swinging a dick to another guy, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll listen to that."
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, we got really cussy and stuff on our night.
That's the very, but that's the very first time that you believed me that it happens in the workplace, because it wasn't even like a day-to-day thing. It was literally in the same moment.
But now I use my power for good.
That, as we all
should. When I realize that the doctors are ignoring my fellow colleagues, I'll talk to them and be like, "Hey, do you want me to talk to them?" and see if that'll change anything. Yeah. So.
Well. Always got to use the power for good.
Well, sexism exists. We should actually talk about this as a podcast. Maybe have a guest on. Yeah. To really get into it, but sexism exists anywhere you are, one way or another. Mm-hmm. Mine is, I get a pink purse in nursing school, and you don't get listened to by your professional colleagues. Nope. Tit for tat. I guess.
Oh, before we digress on this too much, can I just bring this back around for one last thought before we end this podcast?
What scrubs were you wearing when the doctor ignored you?
I don't remember. What I was going to say is, what's the worst thing you've ever gotten on scrubs? Oh. And did they last the shift? Or what's the worst? How many times have you had to change your scrubs in a shift? What was the worst shift?
I've had to change my scrubs 3 times on a shift.
Oof, that's never happened to me.
No, it was pre-pandemic, so we didn't even have. I had to call OR to get scrubs sent down. Oh. Twice in the day. So 3, 1, 2. Okay. Yeah.
So you changed twice, but you had 3 sets of scrubs
I had 3
in a
sets
shift.
of scrubs in a
Still,
shift.
Oof, that's never happened to me.
Yeah. The first one was, I think it was an exploded It was with a confused patient that it all happened, and I think it was an exploded Foley, or we were doing a bed change or something, and he ripped his Foley apart, and it just went splurting everywhere. And then the next time was finger painting. And as much as you try to wrangle in that hand.
By finger painting, we should explain to the people who aren't nurses.
If you don't know what finger painting is, I guess.
Some people just use their own poop to create art. And unfortunately, it happens with relative frequency.
And sometimes when they get combative, when you're like, please don't paint on the walls, they get mad at you, and then they try to grab you and then poop fling it. And sometimes in the moment, for everybody's safety, you the best you have on is gloves. You don't have a gown or anything. Yeah. And you just really try to get in there and hold them so that they don't, but it didn't work, and smear of poop.
Oh, actually, I think I've had to change my shirt twice in a shift. I've never had to do a full change. But I've had to change my shirt twice. It was the same patient again. It was like a confused elderly patient, and we went in there in the morning to try and give them their meds. And the first thing that this patient was like gripping the side rail, and then just like turned and just like smeared all down my front. And I don't know what it was. It looked like yogurt, but who knows what was going on there? And it was sticky.
Either way, it was getting
like,
changed.
Nope, getting changed. Like call maternity, send out. They tubed me down a shirt, and I kid you not, like not even an hour later, I was transferring this patient to a stretcher to go for a test of some sort, and they like. Wiped it on
a
me.
big loogie
Just
on
like,
you?
no, they just like wiped their nose and then wiped it on my back. And I'm like, oh no, this is no. And this was all before 9 a.m.
I don't know why to me that seems even worse somehow. I don't know why. The intentionality of it.
Yeah, but they were just like, but this was like a dementia patient. They just didn't like, they just weren't aware, right? But still, it was just kind of like, oh, I'm the closest Kleenex.
Yeah,
that happened. So
there's a title of one of our when I cut this into shorts.
Yeah, closest.
I'm the closest Kleenex. That's the title of this short.
Wiped it right down my back. I'm like, okay, sent this patient off to I don't know whatever test procedure, and I called maternity. Like, can you send me down an extra small top? They're like, again. I'm like, yes, please.
Wow, yeah.
All right, well, maybe that's a fun place to end this.
Yeah, let's end it on there.
Very ranging journey tonight.
We both had long weeks, and you're back to work tomorrow, and
I
it's 8:30, and I'd like to watch some Call Me Cat or something.
Okay, something light.
But yeah, this was still good. It was it actually went in a lot of places did not expect when you said let's talk about
Scrubs.
But like I said, I was quite like I didn't know what I was going to bring to the conversation because Scrubs and guys, it doesn't really matter.
I was hoping for a male perspective, though. Maybe it didn't.
The male perspective is there are no good Scrubs.
There you go. But that led to a whole lot of conversations.
Yeah.
So there we go.
So again, of course, we do it at the end.
Like and subscribe.
We love follow you wherever you are. Hopefully, you guys are liking the shorts. I've been working hard on those. You can find those on YouTube at the 24G podcast.
If you like our stuff on YouTube, you should click the thumbs up. And if you don't like it, you should double click the thumbs down.
Yes. Or click the thumbs up anyways.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? I had one more thing I was going to say, but that's okay. I got nothing. My brain's fried.
All right. Well, then this is a good place to end it. So Thanks for hanging out with us for another episode of the 24 Gauge podcast. And we hope that you will join us next time and keep following along online.
DrinkPhilAndSebastian's.com. I don't know what that meant. Drink Phil and Sebastian's coffee.
I don't think that's their website.
No, I know. Well, maybe it is Phil. No, I think it's PhilAndSeb.com. Anyways, Phil and Sebastian coffee. I had to plug it. I'm not drinking coffee tonight, but I wanted to plug them.
All right.
I'm coming to see you guys in the summertime finally. First time in Calgary, and I'm making sure we're coming.
I'm gonna make him get a lot of merch and walk out of there like wearing a shirt and a hat and holding a mug or something like that.
Just be like a super fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably forget to actually get coffee.
We need to stop. It's time to end.
We're
okay.
tired.
Bye, guys.
Bye.